Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for coming today. I am the democratically elected and constitutional president of Madagascar. I am proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with my fellow countrymen and women fighting for democratic freedom. Not just the voice of my party, but all the other political movements, including those loyal to our former president. I salute and welcome all who stand united with us against the coup d'etat, which ended democracy and freedom in beloved country. It plunged our people into a dark time of suffering. My presence today is to announce a major multi-party and personal initiative in the fight of democracy, on which dramatically shift the level of debate around Madagascar and her future, and ensures the will of the Malagasy people will be prevailed. The illegal regime grabbed the power in unconstitutional manner, declaring it an illegal coup is not based on my opinion, but is the official view of the SADC and the AU. They suspended the regime from all of their activities and imposed official sanctions against them, quite a rare action taken against another African state. The United States, the European Union, and the entire international community refused to recognize the regime and suspended all forms of contact and assistance. Recently, new information on the coup emerged from a senior military officer. As I have repeatedly maintained, his evidence confirmed the involvement of a small faction of the military and the militia in the coup. Instead of condemning the coup leaders, false accusations continue to be made against me. I have, on numerous occasions, called for an international commission of inquiry to investigate these unfounded allegations. I repeat that call today. The International Court of Justice in The Hague has said that the trial should never have been taking place. I have given my full support to the SADC mediation conducted by former President Chissano since 2009. As a matter of a public record, I signed the Maputo Accords and the Addis Ababa Additional Act without any reservation. My participation in the Pretoria talks in April 2010 supported the process designed by President Chissano. I also gave much credit for the leading role that President Zuma played in assisting the mediation. He again mentioned the importance of resolving the crisis in his recent State of the Nation address. Let me point out that before the Pretoria talks, I was already aware that an alternative roadmap was circulated to circumvent the SADC mediation. Its main points were that Rajuel should be the transitional president with his own government and not an inclusive government. According to this plan, I would not be allowed to return to my country. Ladies and gentlemen, the illegal regime has openly defied the SADC agreements and has not implemented any of the stipulations. The SADC Extraordinary Summit held in Botswana at the end of the last year and attended by 14 heads of state and government or their representatives noted, quote, "The political situation in Madagascar remains fragile and unresolved. Despite all the mediation attempts undertaken by SADC, agreements reached have been dishonored and violated on a number of the occasions, notably by the High Transition Authority, unquote. This means the illegal regime sabotaged all attempts at mediation. At its meeting in Windhoek, SADC reaffirmed this, and in addition recommended, quote, SADC, the African Union, and the wider international community should lend their political, technical, material, and financial support to the process of Malgacho-Malgache, unquote, dialogue. The political and the human rights situation is now autocratic. There is no freedom of expression. There is no media freedom. There is fear of intimidation. There is arbitrary detention. There is suppression of any criticism or opposition. In 2010, the UN's Human Rights Council expressed its concern about the situation in Madagascar. Many Malagasy citizens are today in exile or in jail. The illegal regime is involved in a propaganda campaign to legitimate itself. The persistent unilateral approach does not replace a credible multi-party negotiating process. The regime is illegal. It cannot legitimate itself. This is similar to the apartheid regime that introduced a new constitution and reforms in 1983, but excluded legitimate leaders like Nelson Mandela. The international community was not deceived by that. It is also not deceived by the maneuvering of this illegal regime. The latest development is a new roadmap proposed by the SADC mediators. Please note, that is not an official SADC roadmap, but only proposed by an individual in the mediating team. It is a pro-gradual transition plan designed to keep me out of Madagascar and out of any participation political. It is unacceptable. It is undemocratic. It sets a bad example for Africa. It rewards a coup leader. It disregards African resolutions about unconstitutional regimes. It will only deepen the crisis. It resolves nothing. It excludes too many political voices, confers legitimacy on an illegal regime. It stops voters choosing who they want. This is not a foundation for a sustainable democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, in the context of a broken country and stalled mediation, let me reveal our democratic alternative. We will need assistance and support from all the international bodies, SADC, the African Union, the United Nations, the European Union, the United States, indeed, from the whole world, as we strive to return to democracy in Madagascar. But what is desperately needed is a genuine Malgacho-Malgache dialogue. This is what SADC recommended. This is where we must start. Then the international community can support us. Malagasy society, everybody from 4 political movements, all political parties, the churches, all of the civil society, as inclusively as we can. must get together to define a solution for ourselves. International mediation, no matter how skilled, cannot replace the process of brother speaking to brother, a political voice coming together as patriots in the interest of a country we all love, to define a solution which is peaceful, lasting, and prosperous. I believe that only a truly national consensus forged by the Malagasy people through direct talks in our own country can restore us to democracy and can ensure that nobody can ever seize power illegally in Madagascar again. Let us, all of us, set aside our differences. Let us find and listen to the voice of the people. Let us do what is best for our country, not what suits our own selfish interest. The national interest is above all our interest. I am prepared to listen to anyone. I am prepared to talk with anyone. I do so humbly, so that we can return to democracy and together create a bright future for Madagascar. This must lead to a free and fair election in which anyone who wishes to be a candidate may be made to so. To bring about such a society, to help restore democracy, it is time for me to come home. I wish to lead by example. I wish with all of us and all of you to stand up for peace and democracy and the right to freedom of choice for the ordinary Malagasy. They deeply deserve all of us to give them the right. They have suffered and have been abused in our recent history. I wish with all of you to ensure an honorable future for our country, to ensure that we can stand proudly in the community of nations. Accordingly, I wish to inform all who are watching and listening to me today, both in South Africa and Madagascar and the rest of the world. I will return home on the day after tomorrow, on Saturday, February 19th. I will be returned to our beloved country, and this is our ticket. I intend to reach out to all Malagasy to build a consensus for peace. I know the risk facing my return, but cannot allow them to get in the way of us restoring democracy. I have nothing to fear. I have done nothing wrong. These are momentous times. We have been inspired and gratified by the democratic aspirations in Tunisia, Egypt, and other countries. The desire for freedom burns in my heart. Our dream of freedom cannot be put off any longer. Thank you to the people and government of South Africa. I hope they will understand and support my return. My actions are guided by God and the best interest of our country. I look forward to being home, to be with my fellow countrymen and women. True democracy demands nothing less. God bless Madagascar.